Help me make something out of nothing. Alright, so we've got cheese. This is not butter. This is deer meat. We thought it was sausage when we cooked it up. It's not sausage, it's just ground deer meat. There's a leg quarter in here and some rice. I'm not going to use the leg quarter. I'm going to use the rice. And then I've got some eggs. And there's not enough rice in here to do all of us, so I'll end up having to cook more. I also have some frozen peas that I need to work on getting rid of, and I have onions. I'm going to chop those up too, but let's get the rice cooking so that it can be done when everything else is done. I usually do 2 cups of rice. That is usually my standard go-to, but because I'm just trying to add a little bit extra to what I've already got, I'm just going to do 1 cup. 2 cups of rice usually gets us leftovers, and so go wash your rice if you want to. With 1 cup of rice, I did 2 cups of water, and I'm going to add some chicken bouillon into this. How much chicken bouillon, you ask? Enough. I don't want it to be like very chickeny. I just want it to have a little bit of flavor. You can also add sesame oil or soy sauce if you want. I don't have any sesame oil, and I'm not adding soy sauce this time. Just I don't feel like it. I'm going to, there's clumps in that. I'm going to stir that in and get this on the stove cooking. While that's cooking, I'm going to saute some veggies. So this is the skillet I used this morning for fried eggs and potatoes. It's got a little bit of oil in it. I'm not picky. If I use the oil once for an egg and it's not got stuff in it, I use it again. That may be gross to other people. I don't know. Sue me. But we're going to do that one next. And I'm going to put this on the stove. Oh, that much onion. Yeah, it's about 1/3 of an onion. So put that into the skillet and cook it with the peas. Do I want carrots? That is the question. I have them, might as well use them. I usually have like a bag of frozen peas and carrots, but I guess I used them all, which is fine. That's what needs to be done. I'm just going to do 6 carrots minus the ends because they look a little janky. That's the rest of the carrots. We're going to put them in a skillet. And while I'm waiting, I'm going to empty my freezer out of the chicken bones and scraps that I've been saving to make chicken broth over my crock pot. On my table for now because my kids are busy, and after lunch it'll be nap time, so it'll be left alone for a little while, and my kitchen counters are cluttered right now, so I'm doing it here for now, and later today I will transfer it over to my counters. But these are not freezer bags, but it's what I had whenever I was doing all this. This is just assorted chicken bones, nothing specific. It is a lot of like leg quarter bones, but I'm sure that there are wings in here, and or the bones of wings and other things in here. I just, whenever I cook chicken that's on the bone, I will take and put all of the bones in a bowl, and at the end of the evening, whenever everybody's done eating, I will take those chicken bones and put them in one of these bags. I've just been saving them up as I go. This is chicken broth that I took and put in ice cube trays in hopes that my son would use them for teething. He did not. So I'm just going to melt those down in this and incorporate it back in, and then can it whenever all of this is done. This will eventually go down, and once it goes down, I'll add my scraps. But this is on low, and this will be going for the next couple of days. And so I like to render my bones down as much as possible. And so I put them in the crock pot and simmer it for like 2 to 3 days slowly. And what I'll do is, after it's been in the crock pot, after it's been simmering for 3, 4, 5 hours, I will skim the top off and put it to the side and add more water in and get as much broth out as I can out of this batch. And so usually I take and buy the rotisserie chickens from like Walmart or Kroger. Kroger does it too. But because I am on a journey to save as much money as I can, I haven't been buying those rotisserie chickens. Instead, I have been just saving the bones of the chicken that I've been making from scratch. I buy the 10-pound leg quarter bags from Tin Box for anywhere from $6.88 to $7.50. Prices have recently gone up, so last time I checked, they were $7.50 for a 10-pound bag, which is still not bad. It's still cheaper than anywhere else. And whenever I do that, I have just been putting all of the bones in one bowl, and then at the end of the day, I will take and put those bones in one of these Ziploc bags in the freezer and save it up until I have a big batch like this. And so I do have another crock pot, but I think that this right here will be plenty enough for what I've got. If I had saved more and had like twice as much as this, then I would use my second crock pot. But this should be plenty. And kind of an indication when you know that this is done cooking is these bones will be brittle and you'll be able to break them in half. And so when that is where you're at in your cooking process, you know that it's getting to the point where you can call it quits and strain everything off. You do not have to add scraps. I like to add scraps because it adds more flavor to my broth, but you do not have to have it. You can just do chicken bones, skin, stuff like that, and water, and you will have perfectly good chicken broth. This just adds a little bit of extra flavor, and you can do basically any vegetable. I've done celery, carrots, I've done bell pepper, onions. It doesn't really matter. I just save whatever scraps I have that I don't feed to my chickens, that is, and I will add it to this pot. This is my last batch of scraps in my freezer, so after this I'm going to have to start saving some more to go along with the chicken that I'm going to do my next chicken broth batch. But this is what we've got so far. And that was 5 minutes of running my mouth. This is what we have so far. The peas right there are still frozen. We're getting there. But my kids may pick this stuff out. My son should eat it. My daughter may pick some of this out. But I will always put it on their plate and offer it. And try to get them to eat it, just because if you don't, they never will. I grew up as a very picky eater, and I don't want my kids to be that way. I want them to have variety. I want them to be willing to try new things. And so I am trying to expose them to everything that I can, because I want them to be adventurous when it comes to their food. So my rice is done. How do I know my rice is done? It's stuck to the bottom of my pot. That's how I know my rice is done. But there we go. I'm going to add the cold rice into the skillet with the vegetables and get away from the steam. And then add this in, and we'll go for added protein. I am going to drop 2 eggs in the skillet and scramble it to the side before I add it into the rice. Now once my egg is cooked, I'm going to add the deer meat into the mix, and the secret seasoning that we use in our dish is strawberries. This goes great in with deer meat. We found, now usually we'll cook our deer meat, brown our deer meat off and make rice and then put the deer meat on top of the rice. I'm mixing it together today. Doesn't really matter because it'll taste the same. I mean, the only difference really is usually I make fried eggs to put on top so that the yolk is runny. I'm adding scrambled eggs into it this time. so it's less mess for the kids. And we usually don't add peas and carrots into the rice. I'm doing that for an extra vegetable for my kids. Doesn't really matter. You can add it or not. I'm almost out, but we love strawberry seasoning, and that is what I'm going to be adding to this meal to really make the dish come together. It needs a little salt and pepper. But the only thing that I would change is I wish I would have cooked my carrots a little bit longer, because I like my carrots done. But other than that, it tastes really good. I'll show you what I've played up. Okay, this is what my bowl looks like. I have a little sriracha on it. I want to use a different hot sauce, but I can't find any that I like because they all taste like vinegar to me, and I don't like the vinegar taste. I know that sriracha is not necessarily good for you. If I could find a different hot sauce, I would.